embarrassing.
All right. So, we're ready to go? Yep. If we could bring it back. So this is going to be another interactive session. I want to introduce Jim Kalbach from Mural. I've known Jim a lot longer than he's known me. I came up through corporate and the product development world. Worked with some of you from Life Fitness, Care before I went into consulting. And one of the books that really had a huge influence on my work and my success as a product manager was The Jobs to Be Done playbook that Jim wrote. So we're not doing any jobs to be done today, but Jim, what are we going to do?
We're going to do fun stuff.
All right, who's ready for some fun stuff?
Come on back
Do you want to be mic'd up?
in. No, I'm just going to use this. Is that okay? All right, you guys ready?
name is Jim Kalbach. I'm the chief evangelist at Mural and Luma, one of the sponsors of the event. We have a table in the back. Please take some swag. And I play bass. On guitar, Steve Knight. On the tenor saxophone, Sam Taylor. And Leonard Stroud on the drums. In 1959, Miles Davis, the famous trumpet player and band leader, entered the studio to record what became the best-selling jazz album of all times, called Kind of Blue. And if you don't like jazz, take a listen to this one, you just might like it. The backstory to the recording is that although the band had played together and they played parts of the songs that they recorded, they didn't know what they were going to record until they got into the studio. That is, Miles handed them the music as they entered the studio. So I think it begs the question, how can a group of humans come together and collaborate to create such great outcomes spontaneously? And what we're going to do up here is we're going to demonstrate some of what goes into that. And I want to use this as a provocation for how teams might work together and how we might face uncertainty. Going back to the first presentation when you're talking about uncertainty, right? Because we've never played together before. In fact, we just met and we've had no rehearsals and we didn't even have a sound check. That was the first time we ever played together. And each of these musicians took my invitation and said, of course, we'll get up on stage with you and do a jam session. And what I want to do is unpack a little bit of what makes this possible for us, again, as a provocation for you. And I'm going to talk about 3 different things: structures, norms, and real-time alignment. So I'm going to talk a little bit, and then we'll play another song, and I'll come back and talk, and then hopefully have time for another song. Contrary to popular belief, I want to go here first. Jazz isn't just playing what we want, what we feel, right? There's actually a lot of structure behind what we're doing. Yes, the surface is improvised. Everything that we were doing was improvised. But underneath, there are these structures that guide us. You may not know this. Now, you don't have to be able to read music here, but I just want to talk about some of the structure that we're using to orient ourselves. The tune we just played is called All Blues, and it's on the album Kind of Blue, so you'll hear that when you all listen to it. But this is what we call a lead sheet or a chart. And again, you don't have to read music, but this gives us some very clear information that we need to stay together. It gives us the key, it gives us the melody, which we call the head. It gives us the harmonies, that's that G7 and the C7 there. Those are the harmonies or the chords that Steve was playing. And we call those the changes. But this also gives us the length of the tune, which we call the form. It's also called a chorus in jazz terms. So you just learned 3 jazz terms: the head, the changes, and the chorus. So a chorus is one time through this form, and this is what we call a 12-bar blues. Now a bar is given by that vertical line right there. So you'll see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We call this a 12-bar blues. And there are hundreds of songs, if not thousands of songs, based on the 12-bar blues progression and changes, right? How often do you guys play blues? You play blues tonight? Every night they play blues every night. So once you learn this, it's like a template. It's a framework that once we learn this once, we can apply it over and over again to different songs with different melodies. But this length, this duration, is actually kind of short. It's a short little duration. It didn't take us long to go through that once. And it's kind of like an agile sprint. You guys know sprints from Agile. instead of doing everything in one big arc, they break it down into short sprints. So we were kind of sprinting up here, which allows us to learn our way into the song. So even though we never played together, by the time we got to the second and third iteration, I was looking at Bernard, I got a sense of how these guys were playing, and we kind of learned our way into it. But this structure is really, really important for us. I call that the form of the tune. And this is guiding us, right? The second thing I want to talk about are norms and rules of engagement. Rituals and patterns that we have. We're going to rely on our friend Professor Dizzy Gillespie here at the blackboard. You guys ever seen this photo before? Here's the equation for jazz. Jazz equals, we play the head. I solo, you solo, we play the head, yeah, man. All right? Let's break that down. So, 12-bar blues, those are the 12 bars that we just played. Again, the head is the melody. The first time we went through it, Sam played the melody. Then, after that, we kept that same template and we kept repeating it, but you take the melody away and the soloists play and improvise the melody on top of it. When the soloist is done, they hand it over to the next soloist. Right? So jazz is really about taking something, making it your own, and then putting it back out into the world. Take something, you make it your own, you put it back out into the world. And then we play the head again. What happens after that? Yeah, man. Can I get a yeah, man? There we go. So yeah, man. So these are norms and patterns and rules of engagement that are universal. I've given this talk in Bulgaria, in the UK, and San Francisco, and I find local musicians just like this, never rehearsed before, and we can get through the uncertainty of performing live for you because we have common structures that we're orienting ourselves to, and we have these rules of engagement. In fact, in that song, Sam looked over at me and he said, what did you kind of say? Oh, he pointed. He said, dude, what I want to, if I wanted to take the solo. Because he took the solo and then Steve took the solo and then Sam kind of wanted, if I wanted to take the solo, right? That was my turn. And I took one solo. and then we played the head and then, yeah, man. So, on the surface of things, this is all improvised. This is all improvised music. But under the hood, there are structures and norms that we're following that help us get through this. And again, confront uncertainty. Uncertainty is something that we embrace as jazz musicians all the time. We're going to play another song, and then I'm going to come back and talk. Okay? Yes? This is a different structure that we're going to play. This is in 12 bars. This is 32 bars, so it's a little bit longer. And it's based on George Gershwin's I Got Rhythm. And this has what we call an AABA structure. So we play this first line, which is 8 bars. I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man, and who could ask for anything more? That's the A section. Then we're going to play that again. And then there's a contrasting B section, also 8 bars, and then we play the A section again, right? So that's 32 bars, 4 sections, 8 bars each. And it has these harmonies here, or as we call them, changes. And this is we affectionately call this the rhythm changes because it's based on George Gershwin's I Got Rhythm. So we're going to play a rhythm changes tune. But we're going to not play I Got Rhythm. What do you got? Oh, you want to do all the? I just heard the version of all it's funny. I was just saying that yesterday. I was just saying all that yesterday. So that's Sonny Rollins, right? Miles or something? Okay. So we're going to do a tune called Olio. I think it's from Sonny Rollins. Written over this form, and it has an AABA structure. Now, you don't have to know where we are. So you don't have to worry about the structure. Just know that we know where we are in the form. But when the soloist changes turns, it's always at the top. So we don't change arbitrarily. You don't just end and go, hey, you want to pick it up. It's always at the top. So when soloists change sections or soloists, it's always at the top of this form. What else do I want to say about this? Let's try it. Let's see where it's going. So this is the form, the structure that we're going to play. I'm just going to go over a little bit of the rules of engagement here. Now, we wouldn't have to talk about this. We could have just counted off and went. But because of time, I'm going to talk about how we're going to do this. And also for your benefit, because I want to show you just how effective and expedient this language is. Let's do the head. We'll do one of you guys. I guess you can start. So just one chorus each, and then we'll do fours. And then when we come out, can we give Menard the B section as a solo on the way out? Okay. So here's Sonny Rollins' Olio.
Not too fast. Good. Don't leave me in the dust. How fast you got it? I can do that. You want to get us in?
Yeah, sure. 2,
premiere for us. And if we played it again, it wouldn't be like that. All of these notes that we just played were designed for that moment. So the next time we played it, it would be different. What I played would be different. What you played, you'd probably play something different too, right? Hopefully. That's what jazz musicians strive for. Every performance, they want to be different. Underneath are these structures and these frameworks, and I was reminded of that during Charles' talk, right? We were talking about uncertainty. How can we confront the uncertainty of the future? And then you show all these great frameworks and structures, right, for us to do that. And that's what we're doing up here. We're using those structures along with the rules of engagement to help us navigate uncertainty. Got one more point I want to talk about, real-time alignment. We have a distinct advantage here on stage in that our medium is sound. and sound is instant. So as soon as they play something, I hear it and I respond to it, and we're all doing that. It's almost as if there's an invisible point here on the stage, and we're all contributing our sound to that, and we're all reacting to that. And in jazz, they talk about having big ears. We talk about big ears, which is listening to the other cats on the stage more than you're listening to yourself. And jazz musicians do use the word cats. Steve, we texted cats. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear a yeah man for that last song. Did you guys feel the yeah man? Yeah. We'll do it after this song, because we're going to play one more song, if that's okay. But the question I have is, in your work and working with your clients, how do you stay aligned in real time? And for me, that's working visual. I think when we work out loud, that helps us stay aligned. So seeing is how we can stay aligned in our work. And to be sure, at Mural and UMA, we've identified 6 behaviors of great innovators, and visual thinking is one of the first behaviors that we've identified. And I think that's how you can stay aligned. Imaginative. It takes a lot of imagination to be able to solo over the rhythm changes. Empathetic, as I was talking about, we're listening to each other constantly. We're totally empathetic to what's going on here. Iterative. I talked about that form that's over and over again. And it's a very short form, too. And then when I say that, a lot of people say, so why are the songs so damn long? Right? Well, that's because it's almost like a song in a song, because it's my version of the song, and then Steve's version of the song, and Sam's version of the song. So it's actually multiple songs, but it's very iterative. Jazz is very repetitive. Collaborative. As soon as we count off, we're all in it together. Hierarchy doesn't matter. Skill level, it doesn't matter. We're in it together as soon as we count off, and we have to collaborate. And questioning, as I said, we're always trying to do something different. Experimental mindset, let's try something new. And these are the behaviors that we exhibited up here, but I think, think about AI and what the change that has already brought on our businesses, and people are concerned about their jobs and things like that. We have to ask, what does a high-performing team of the future look like? I think my talk said something about high-performing teams, which we generally say, oh, they're very productive or efficient, or they crank out some new innovation. But I think moving forward, if AI is going to take the bulk of our knowledge work, what are the humans that remain? What are they going to do? I think it's exactly these skills that we want from the human beings that are in our organizations while AI does its thing. And these are the things that get us through this uncertainty of an unrehearsed performance. So, again, this was a provocation more than anything. There was almost nothing practical that I communicated in this talk. It was more about questioning, where are we going? How are we going to engage in the future and the future of organizations? This is the typical model that we think of, right? The orchestra conductor, a leader orchestrates work, and musicians have their notes, and they only play those notes when the conductor tells them to play them. But maybe we should be thinking more like this, right? And I think the point I want to make with this provocation is that there are alternative models of how work gets done. And I think more than ever, now is the time to look at the arts or other cultures or other models of how we're going to come together and collaborate in the future. I think we have time for one. Do we have time? One more song. We're going to do a quick song. This song is really special to us. It's near and dear to our hearts, and I hope it's near and dear to you too. What do you guys want to do?
It's probably the shortest.
Okay. Yeah, it's also minor too. Yeah, because we just did these five. Let's just do solo, and then so head, solo, and no drum mix. So this is Sam, you want to get us in it? Leonard Stroud, Steve Knight, Sam Taylor. Can I get a yeah, man? Yeah, man. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm Jim Kalbach.